Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and I am here today in Kreuzlingen, Switzerland at the Kessler Auction House. And I figured if I'm going to be in Switzerland, I should at least take a look at a Swiss gun. So I found this very unusual one. This is a SIG 550 variant, which they only made about 12 of. It is specifically a SIG VRB, or pump-action rifle. In German, that would be Vorderschaft Repetierbüchse, I think, or something like that. Anyway, VRB. We have seen some things like this in the United States. The one that comes to mind most notably is the Romanian Wasser 3 .556 caliber AK that was imported as the PAR-3, a pump-action rifle. And this is basically the exact same idea. It's taking a semi-automatic action and converting it to pump action so that it is no longer semi-auto and thus much less restricted in many countries. Now, I believe SIG's development here was originally intended for sale in France, but of course they only made like 12. They never actually came onto the commercial market. So there were just a few of them. When they scrapped the program, they sold most of them off. They were made both in 222 Remington and 223 Remington caliber because, of course, prior to 2013 in France, 223 Remington, or 556 NATO, was a restricted caliber for civilian possession, even in a manually operated rifle like this. So typically, the typical conversion for 556 would be 222 Remington. The execution of this thing is actually really pretty good. This would not be a terrible rifle. It's too bad I don't have the opportunity to shoot it, because it would be fun to take this out and actually run some rounds through it. The construction of this rifle is, well, it's basically the same lower as you would have on any other semi-automatic SIG 550. Note there's a two-position safety selector, safe and single. Not that a burst selector would do you any good on a non-semi-auto rifle. The upper has actually been modified. This is a SIG PE90. This is the semi-auto, well, actually semi-auto version of the rifle, and you can see that there is a cutout back here, and there is a charging handle in the bolt, both of which are absent from the pump-action version. Of course, the standard rifle also has, well, this particular one has a diopter sight on it, where the pump rifle came only with a Picatinny rail. Moving to the barrel, it is just a barrel with an operating rod here connecting directly to the bolt. So it cycles simply like that. It does lock open on an empty magazine because the bolt catch is intact. That's in the lower. So I can release that by pushing the bolt catch up, dropping the bolt. It comes with a cute little 5-round magazine, although all standard SIG 550 magazines did fit it. And it is not threaded at the end, but it does have a built-in flash hider. We'll go ahead and take the front end off here. What we have is a series of spring detents that hold the handle onto the op rod. And if I just push in here, we can deactivate those. There we go. So now the handguard, or the pump handle, comes off. Then I can remove the front pin. This is identical to a standard rifle. Normally this would hold on the handguard. In this case, it holds on this, well, barrel shroud is really what it is. And the pump handle cycles over this, but when the handle's forward, this prevents you from burning your hand on the barrel. It's really just a plain, simple sheet metal tube with a lug to attach to the receiver. And underneath that is a standard SIG 550 barrel. Now I can pull out the rear pin, and this is under a fair amount of spring tension. There we go. So there's our totally standard lower with a semi-auto fire control group. On the upper, we can pull out the recoil spring and guide, and then pull bolt assembly out. You'll note on the barrel there is no gas block, there's no gas port. There's no provision for one. Some pump-action rifles have a dummy front sight block or gas port on there. The 550 does not. So that's part of the reason you don't have a rear iron sight, is that there's no provision for a front iron sight. So here's our pump-action bolt, and here's a standard SIG 550 bolt. On the 550, the operating rod is actually connected to the mainspring, which is in the, well, it's housed above the barrel under the handguard, and the bolt is connected to it by the charging handle. So what you would do is bring this down, and the charging handle connects the two together. On the pump rifle, they have made this operating rod one integral piece with the bolt carrier. In fact, you can see right here, they had a pin that held the two, or holds the two together, which has then been welded over. And of course, you don't have the cutout to allow for the charging handle. So I'm sure that part of SIG's design process on this was making sure that there was no way that the pump rifle could be easily converted into a semi-auto, because that would have serious implications for their ability to export the pump rifle. And they did a really thorough job of that. There is definitely no easy way to convert the pump rifle into a semi-auto rifle. So there is the whole thing disassembled. It's a neat rifle. Obviously, it's one that exists solely because of legislative restrictions, and apparently it turned out that there wasn't enough of a market for something like this to justify SIG manufacturing it in any quantity. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks to the Kessler Auction House for letting me take a look at this guy. And if you're ever in Switzerland and have the chance, definitely stop in and take a look. They have an open public gallery of firearms, both up for sale, up for auction, and simply on the wall awaiting transfer. One of the better gun shops I have ever seen in mainland Europe. Thanks for watching.